wonderful students, and a good day to you. Thank you for joining us for another episode of the IELTS exam in the Class Clown series. Behind the camera, we have Sina, our wonderful producer.
Hello!
I am your host, Sarah, and joining us again is Sam from Fast Track ESL.
Hello!
Hello.
I'm so happy to be here.
Wonderful.
All right. So, Sarah.
Yes.
One more
time.
Final episode of the season.
Yes. One last time.
Mm-hmm.
One last time, Sarah.
Can't wait.
Okay. Ready?
Ready.
Let's do this. Okay. In this first part, I want to ask you a few questions about yourself.
Sure.
Let's talk about swimming.
Oh, okay.
Did you learn to swim as a child?
Yes, I did learn to swim as a child. At the time, I was living in Florida, which is a tropical state. So you can imagine there are many beaches, and it was important to know how to swim.
Okay. Did you learn it formally in school, or did you learn it in your own time?
In my own time, my mom took me and my sister for swimming lessons. The diving board was the scariest part.
Okay. And how often do you swim these days?
These days, if given the opportunity and the location, because it's not very easy to find pools around here in Canada. Well, it's not easy compared to Florida.
I see.
Yeah, it's harder. But if there's a pool around, I make sure I go for a dip.
Nice.
A dippity dip.
Okay.
Dippity do.
All right. Are there any? Are there various places to swim in your neighborhood?
I'm going to say compared to places like Florida, not as many, but there are places. Like community centers have pools, public schools have pools, hotels have pools. So yes, there's a good handful, I'd say.
Okay. And do you prefer swimming in a pool or in a lake?
Oh, no question. I like swimming in pools because, if I'm in a lake, I would be worried that there are like creatures around or that the water's not clean. So, yeah, sorry, just pools for me.
Okay. And do you think that all children should be taught how to swim? Is that a skill that all children should learn?
While some may disagree with me, I'm going to say yes, it's a skill that children should learn because as you get older, I feel like it's less intuitive and you could feel less comfortable learning how to swim because it's just not familiar to you. And it's just a basic, important survival skill, I think.
Okay, perfect. Now, in this next part, I'm going to give you a cue card. On this cue card, there are some questions. I'd like you to take a minute to think about these questions and then speak about it for 2 minutes. You have a pad and pen to take notes.
Okay.
And I want you to talk about a famous business person that you admire. You have 1 minute.
Okay. A famous business figure I admire. Oh, the struggle is real.
Okay, so that's 1 minute.
Okay.
Please continue speaking until I tell you to stop. And don't worry if I stop you.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So, I'd like to talk about a famous business figure I admire, and this person's name is Kimberly Kamloops. She's Canadian born, and she actually comes from a place that's close to my hometown. She is a social media mogul, I would say. You know, she started from the bottom, and now she's on top of her game, and she's doing like really innovative things for social media in her own right, and she's also reaching out to other people in a kind of non-profit kind of way and supporting people who want to be successful in social media. Yes, so what do I know about this person? Well, I can't say I know a lot. I read a book about her a while ago, but it was a bit of a short read. What I do know is that she's all about female empowerment, and she supports technology, and she's in favor of women who want to explore industries that have previously and currently are more male dominant. So I encourage this kind of work because, as you may have noticed, I am a female, and I do know the personal and professional struggles of, you know, having a leg up in these kinds of industries that are male dominant. I think this woman is a very good role model. I'm a big fan of hers, and I value her highly because while there is a lot of female empowerment happening in the world, I still don't think that it's quite enough. So just the fact that I know about her, I think speaks volumes, and I can only hope that other people get to know her, men and women alike.
Perfect timing. Thank you.
you.
Now, you talked about a business person that you admire.
Mm-hmm.
In this third part of the test, I want to ask you a few questions, more general questions.
Okay.
Tell me, what types of people are famous in your country these days?
That would be a little difficult for me to answer because I actually make it a point not to know about famous people. That's just one of my things. But maybe famous or just commonly talked about would be political figures, of which I actually don't want to mention. But let me search my mind a little bit more. Oh, funny enough, there's a girl that pops into my head. Maybe you know her. She's a female comedian. Her name is Lily Singh, aka Superwoman. She's quite popular these days as she's on social media, and yeah, she's famous. She's also from my hometown of Scarborough. I believe we went to the same high school together. So I support her and all of her endeavors as well.
Very nice.
Being a fellow female comedian and all.
Okay. Now, why do you think there's so many stories about famous people in the media?
I think having famous people in the media creates drama. They're already out there for the world to see, so it's kind of easier to talk about them as opposed to like a small town unsung hero, right? So they're like, if someone's listening to a story or watching a video and they see a familiar face, then they can kind of connect to that story a little easier.
Okay. Why do you think so many young people pursue fame? Why do they want to be famous?
I think the desire to be famous among children is so popular because everyone wants to be loved, I feel. And children, they want to have friends. They want to feel that kind of attention. So if this kind of occupation is the one that gives them that, you know, the ultimate love and the ultimate attention, then I say, why wouldn't a child want that? But as we grow up, we start to see that being famous is not all it's cracked up to be. And so even myself, I wanted to be a famous actress, you know, in Hollywood, on the stage, but I'm also aware of what it takes, and there are a lot of other challenges that children don't see.
I see. And will being famous be more or less difficult in the future?
With social media being what it is, where an individual can create their own profile, their own channel, it's actually, I think, going to be easier, but the competition will be that much larger, right? So it's a fairer playground for everybody, but then knowing that everyone has the chance to be famous kind of brings down the odds for that individual.
That's true. Well, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
This is the end of the IELTS speaking test.
Awesome
Wonderful.
job. Very nice, Sarah.
Scene. Yes.
And scene.
And scene.
Okay, so
Right.
last episode, final flipped IELTS interview. How do you feel about this whole experience, Sarah?
Well, I quite enjoyed it because one important thing to be as a teacher, especially if you have one of those jobs where you're teaching one-on-one and you're meeting a whole range of students. It could be a professional business CEO, COO, high management position, or you could be teaching a 6-year-old kid in Asia, right? Like there's such a range. You should be able to know how you feel on like hundreds of topics. So I think IELTS does that for you. And for those planning to take the IELTS test, it's really an opportunity to know how at least English-speaking people think. Like this is how we like to talk and have conversations about anything and everything.
Very true. I have a few comments to share with you.
Okay.
All right. Rule number 1, don't say dip dippity doo-dah. Okay.
So
Rule number 1 is very important, guys.
Right.
Keep it professional,
Yeah,
keep
sorry.
it formal or semi-formal. you
that's
know?
my inner clown coming out. I'm sorry. Yeah.
All right. Now,
Do-da day, Sarah.
Yes.
I don't know if you noticed, but in part 1, I asked you a part 3 type question.
Ooh.
So I asked you about whether you think kids should be taught how to swim as an essential skill in school. Now, that's not about you. That's a more general question, and it belongs in part 3. But it's not uncommon for the examiner to ask part 3 type questions in part 1 before the cue card. And I think what they're doing is they're just testing your upper limit.
Yes.
So please be mindful of that. Mindful of the fact that you might have to answer type 3 questions in part 1.
Yeah.
Questions that are not about yourself, but might be about your opinion.
Okay.
But
That
you
is a good
handled it
tip.
beautifully.
Thank you. Thank
right.
you very much.
Let's talk about the emotional, the affect of aspect of taking the IELTS exam. So again,
Yes.
as an actor, how do you control your nerves? What do you do to make sure that you're feeling right during an important performance, or in this case, an IELTS interview? What suggestions do you have for the folks at home?
Well, those. Hey, everyone messes up sometime, and that's a part of my tip. Okay.
No, really. Yeah.
Really, it is. That wasn't acting, or was it? I like to strike a balance between intense focus, like you're in the zone, and you're just relaxed, like you're not worrying about bad outcomes. Because once you start worrying about bad outcomes,
true.
that can easily become your reality, right?
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, we kind of call it psyching yourself out. You gotta psych yourself out, like you can do this, you're good, you're in the zone. But at the same time, if you make a mistake, don't beat yourself up about it. And don't panic, right?
Yeah.
Whatever's gonna happen will happen.
Because not everyone is aiming for a perfect 9, right?
Yeah.
You can make a couple of mistakes and still get your desired score.
Absolutely.
So maintain your composure and soldier on.
Yes, exactly. And so, like, some more basic tips to get rid of the nerves before the test, I would usually say exercise, like that morning, even the day before. Like, make sure you're nice and healthy, you know?
Yes.
Like, be at the top of your game with vitamins, supplements, go for a run, take a nice shower to relax yourself. Like, be mentally and physically prepared.
Yeah.
Breathing techniques or exercises are also very useful. A series of deep breaths. Okay, so deep inhalations and exhalations, pausing at the top of the inhalation or at the bottom of the exhalation. Doing that for a while listening to some peaceful music is very good. Did I say meditation already?
Not specifically.
Okay, so meditation is good. I personally like visualization meditations because it brings you into a world where you can momentarily escape and clear your mind of any negative thoughts or energies.
It's suggested to picture yourself succeeding.
Oh,
right?
yes,
Keep
okay.
thinking about yourself doing a good job, okay? Don't listen to people with negative vibes and negative comments, right? Just keep that confidence up and do your best.
And in connection to that, if there are people that do lift your spirits up or make you feel empowered, feel free
closer to them.
Yeah, talk to them, have a chat with them, and feel that good energy that they give you.
Watch something funny on TV, you know? Laughter helps.
Yes. Humor, I mean, it's a big part of who we are. So approaching life with humor will always win the crowd, I believe.
I agree.
How about you, Sam? Do you have any advice?
I agree with everything Sarah said. One thing that I sometimes recommend to my students is to enjoy a nice energy drink before the test, because the caffeine content and also the sugar will get you a little hyped and you might be more focused. However, I strongly advise that you try it out before. You don't want to get all jittery during your test.
People are different, right? So there are two formulas here. Make sure you pick the one that's right for you, right? Some people need to be hyped up and some people need to be mellowed down.
Your physical condition is very important.
Very important.
Like not just energy drinks, but caffeine also. Or like even the food that you eat that morning. Eat something that you like, but you know, you don't want to be thinking about running to the washroom during your exam.
That's very important, right? Because the written part is close to 3 hours. It's a marathon. Right?
Yikes!
So practice that. Also, when you're practicing the speaking for the speaking test, right? Don't just practice part 1 and then take a break, right? Practice the whole test in one go. That gives you a better mental preparation.
Feel the burn.
Exactly. Feel the burn.
It's more authentic too, right?
Sam's on fire.
Yes. How many energy drinks did you have today?
Just a couple.
Oh, just a couple. Okay. All right. Everyone, thank you for joining us, and we want to reiterate that students who are taking the IELTS test, really just prepare yourself. Do not panic, okay? There are emotional sides to this test, so just try to get it out of your system, but stay positive, guys.
Exactly.
Okay? If there are any words that you saw on the screen today, please feel free to look down to the descriptions box below. Leave comments or questions if you want, and subscribe to our channel if you haven't already.
Thank you so much, Sam. Thank you, Sarah.
Okay.
And that is a wrap.
Season
2 is done. Awesome. Thank you.
Bye, guys.
Happy learning.
Happy learning.
Happy learning.